we have some late breaking news. Today's announcement is we've got something that's come in from an unknown source. Kristen, there could be a bit of a backstory as to how you chose to move to North Ireland. Would you like to share that with us?
Yeah, I spun a globe in a bookstore. So,
You did not. In a
yeah, I did.
bookstore? Oh,
I spun a globe in a bookstore. I was there with some friends my junior year of college, junior year of university. And we were that typical like uni poor where like we could eat, but we didn't have any, extra. So we used to sit around a bookstore and study, using air quotes here.
study. Yep.
And one of the things, the bookstore that we were was called Joseph Beth Bookstore. It's in Lexington, Kentucky. It had a giant globe.
Oh,
And so a couple of us would play a game sometimes where you spun the globe and your finger landed on a country, and then you had to go find the a travel book or something else about that country, and then teach us all like the weirdest facts about it, essentially.
mhm.
So, like it's how I learned that Lesotho was a separate country, for instance, to South Africa was that game. So my finger landed on the northern part of the island of Ireland, and I knew nothing about it. I am not Irish. I have no Irish heritage, anything else like that. And my friend Andrea, who had just been to Northern Ireland, ironically said, I will bet you, I think she said something astronomical, like $5,000, that you cannot find a book just on Northern Ireland. And I was like, of course I can. And then she said, it can't be. And she's like, no, it needs to be a travel book. You cannot find a travel book just about Northern Ireland. And I was like, of course I can. So spoiler alert, could not. You can now, but you couldn't in 2003. And what I discovered instead was a book of photographs of their Civil War that I knew nothing about and was completely entranced. There's a very famous picture from the Troubles, which is what they call their Civil War, of little girls going to school surrounded by British Army officers to make sure they're safe to get there.
Yep.
And it's very reminiscent of the Ruby Bridges photo from Brown versus Board of Education in the United States, for anybody who is familiar with that as I am talking. And in my mind, I sat there for about 5 minutes. According to my friends, it was like a couple hours where I just couldn't stop looking at this photo. Went home that night, Googled youth work jobs in Northern Ireland, applied sight unseen, and ended up spending my first job out of college teaching sex ed in various secondary schools in Northern Ireland. Completely fell in love with the country. It was the hardest year of my life, and I learned that hard doesn't mean bad.
Yep.
And it wrecked so much of what I thought about the world, like so much in really good ways. And I was on a scholarship to go back to the States to do my master's degrees. So I did that. But the whole time I was in Texas, all of my questions would go back to Northern Ireland. Like I was the annoying person in my seminary class where somebody would be like, okay, well, this, and this. And I was like, right. But in Belfast. And so at the end of my time, my mentor, whose name is Mike Stroop, who actually taught me that coffee is not an addiction, it's a relationship.
Ooh.
So I give that to you as a gift. He essentially said, like, you have to do a PhD. And I was like, oh, I'm not smart enough to do a PhD, Mike. Like, I can't hack it. And he's like, well, I'm not writing a recommendation for anything else. So you're going to Queens, you're doing a PhD. This is what we're doing. So moved back because my questions were all to do with Northern Ireland.
Yep.
And within a day, I met my now best friend, who was the other good doctor of Abbey Research. And within 2 months, met my husband. And then ended up getting my PhD from the Queen's University of Belfast in Northern Ireland. And it all started because I spun a globe in a bookstore.
That's such a fantastic story. I can't believe that all happened from this one globe, and this globe that you were already all familiar with and, did different things with and everything. And then it turned into a move, a complete move for you. So
yeah, I remember I grew up in Philadelphia and I went to uni in Kentucky, which is about 12 hours away. Kentucky is closer to the middle of the country. And I called my parents and I was like, so I think my first job, I'm applying to live in Northern Ireland. And my dad's immediate response was, cool, I've always wanted to do Christmas out of America.
Oh, wow.
So like, that's my family vibe too. Like that really helped.
Yep.
And so they did. They came over. We had a great Christmas in Northern Ireland, the four of us, and we have lots of great memories from that trip.
Oh,
Still,
wow.
that jokes we still tell from
Yeah.
that trip in 2005. So,
Wow. What a
yeah.
great story. And I can't believe that, wow, just from the one globe spin, like that's just incredible, incredible. And you know what? Not a lot of people have stories like that. So I appreciate you sharing that with us and bringing that to the show because that's super cool. But